You are watching Shaw Arts and Entertainment. I am your host, Curtis Anderson. We're in the Shaw TV studios tonight talking to Suzanne Paschall. I'm feeling very after school specially here. So what's going on? We're hanging out on the steps. Are people cyberbullying you? What are we talking about today? Every time you come by, you have a different story. Sometimes you're an author. Sometimes you're a musician. What's going on today?
Well, today I guess I'm an author. I had a friend say to me after I turned the manuscript for this book in, "So you get that you're an author, right?" And I said, "Well, I get that I wrote a book." And she said, "No, you're an author." So I
This
guess
is more than a book. This is a celebration.
it is. It's called Birth of a Boom: Lives and Legacies of Saskatchewan Entrepreneurs, and it's a publication of the Prairie Policy Centre, and the centre is an organization, not-for-profit organization. It's a think tank that looks at economic prairie issues, and they wanted to do a book that celebrated the history of entrepreneurism in this province, and I got lucky enough to get chosen to do it.
That's all well and good. How much research goes into pulling something like this off? Give me the backstory.
Well, as it turns out, there's 13 chapters, and each chapter is about a different entrepreneur. And as it turns out, most of the stories are not just about the entrepreneurs today, but they go back through generations of their family. So some of these stories go back 100 years. There's a family, the Tells in Regina, who have a company called Cindercrete. Their family's company is 100 years old. It goes back to their great-grandparents. And so it ended up being a lot more family history research than it was company research. This book's really about the people behind the companies, not the companies.
You kind of answered my next question a little bit. Every time someone wants to write a book like this, the story they think they're going to tell is never actually the story they end up telling. So hit me with some of the surprises along the way.
Oh, man, so many. I guess when I first started writing the book, I thought it was going to be about all of these really significant, important lessons for young entrepreneurs today, and it turned out to contain those. But the stories were told in a way I didn't expect. They were very personal, very intimate, behind-the-scenes kind of stories, so that now that people who read the book have said already to us, you know, I know those guys in that book, but I learned all kinds of stuff about them I never knew before. And I think that's one of the charms of the book, is that it is very personal and it is very down-to-earth, very Saskatchewan-like.
I don't know if you've checked out a calendar in the last little while. Christmas is coming up. Who should read this book? Who would this book make a great Christmas gift for?
Oh, it's a super gift for if you have any budding young entrepreneurs in your family, if you have any university students who are studying business or commerce or economics or any of those types of things. It's also a great gift for anybody who likes to read about the history of Saskatchewan. That was the other big surprise in the book for me, is that it ends up being a contemporary book, but it's also a history book. And it's a history that tells the evolution of the province in a completely different way than's ever been told before, through the eyes of small business. So I think it appeals to a lot of different people. I hope it appeals to people who like reading biographies as well. It's 13 short biographies, really.
Let's switch gears real quick. Now, when you take on a project like this, I know most people would, kind of back off in the other areas in their life. I know that's not your case, though. So what's going on with your musical career these days? I know that hasn't slowed down.
No, it hasn't actually. We're in the process of finishing off getting private investor funding to support the publication of our next album. We're scheduled to go into Starlab recording at the end of January to record. We had to hold off a little bit this fall on the work because I had to get this book published. But yeah, we're planning to go in end of January. Hopefully we're going to launch in the spring, and with 14 new tunes from Jump Me Martha. So we're pretty excited.
Sounds fantastic. How can people track your progress for the book, for the writing, or for the music? Hit us with a bunch of websites.
Oh, brother. Okay, there's jumpmemartha.com.
Okay. That's for the band.
For the band. PaschallandDahl.com for the songwriting.
Songwriting.
And the best place for the book, I guess, is prairiecenter.com. That's the publisher's address, but it's also available in Saskatoon at McNally Robinson and in Regina at the Book and Briar.
There it is. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a Merry Christmas. Let's get you off this ladder. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.